Hey, Bronco fans. Welcome to another edition of Bronco Nation Live. We're having another special edition of Bronco Talk. We have a special guest. So, right off the rip, um, if you're interested in esports, we have a live chat in our YouTube channel. Go ahead and head on over there. And if you have any questions for a star esport champion, put them in that chat. We will broadcast them live. Anyway, my name is Nick. I am your host. We will be covering and reviewing Broncos sports. We like to cover all the sports and support all the sports all year round, not just when they pop. So we're going to be hitting later on this show after the feature. We're going to be hitting some tennis, some track and field, some gymnastics, some men's and women's basketball. Again, like I said, esports, and then we will also cover some softball. As always, my co-host is with me, Sam Gillette of Sam Talk Sports. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good. This is a custom hat, by the way, 1 of 1. So if you want one, you can have 2 of 2, but you got to talk to my wife about that. I have no clue where she got it. I am celebrating 10 years in one day with her. She's probably watching maybe tonight. I don't know. Happy 10-year and 1 day anniversary, babe. Anyway, we have backstage right now the PEC Kickoff Tournament MVP, basically every tournament MVP for PEC, 3-time Mountain West Conference champion, #2 CRL championship player, and PEC national champion MVP, Mr. Cade Hall, or known in the esports realm as Woozy.
Thank you. Such a grand intro for me. Don't hype me up too much.
Doc says the same thing. Yeah, we had him on, read off the accolades, and he says that all sounds made up. I'm like, well, all right then. So, Cade, thanks for joining us here. Why don't you give a little rundown of who Cade Hall is for those that have probably never heard of you until they tuned in tonight.
Well, obviously, thank you for the introduction. My name's Cade. I am a third-year psychology major here at Boise State, and I play video games all day.
So kids, if your parents say that you can never make it playing video games, have them rewatch this. All right. Did you want to elaborate, go on about that? Sorry for interrupting.
I'm sure there's plenty. We'll be able to go. You'll learn more about me as we continue talking.
All right. Well, Nick, do you have any questions for Cade before we get kicked off here? Or you just want to jump in whenever you feel like it?
No, I'll just jump in. I've done some research and I've watched some of those matches. So yeah, I'll just jump in whenever I see a space open for me.
All right. And real quick, just because we are talking esports, I will make mention that Baylor is currently losing to Boise State 1-0 in Super Smash Brothers, and it looks like they're on the third round in the second set. So we'll see how that goes as the show goes on. But let's move into Rocket League. Cade, how does the recruiting process work for an esports team? Do they just go look at national rankings and stuff on the PlayStation Network deals and like, you know what? Let's go see if he wants to come.
So that's a really good question. It's one I get quite frequently, and it's surprisingly similar to a traditional recruiting process. At least for me, it depends on the individual. Esports has a surplus of walk-ons depending on the school that you go to, but for me, my experience was getting approached directly by the program based on my previous connection with people currently on the roster. So my teammate Emiliano Durtho is 1 year older than me, and I had played a bunch of amateur and semi-pro tournaments alongside him, and that alongside with my like you said, national ranking and tournament placements, they can just go look, like Boise State can go look at those placements and then also just look at my gameplay, as well as hearing the vouchers from not only Emiliano, but also other people in the scene. And they come to me, and I, obviously smooth talk them into my way to trying to get them to bring me on board here at Boise State. And then they gave me an offer December of my senior year of high school. I accepted, and this is where we are now.
So obviously, Nil's probably different for esports. You guys don't have the notoriety and little different regulations for esports. I know you
Mhm.
said while we were talking backstage that you could actually come back as long as you're past your senior year, as long as you're a full time student. So,
Mhm.
what kind of different I don't know if you'd say struggles or what kind of different daily aspects you have to go through that some of the other major sports don't have to, as far as making ends meet and all that.
Um, I mean, it's not. I don't even want to call them struggles. It's necessarily. It's just more so the responsibilities are different. Anybody who plays a collegiate sport could tell you that like they do it because they love the game. But when you bring it to a collegiate stage, you bear an extra bit of responsibility. So my relationship with Rocket League had to change whenever I knew I was coming into an institution like Boise State. There are now stakes at play. It's not just a game anymore to me, and I think that was a big adjustment for me. But to be honest, I wouldn't trade it for the world because I am a super competitive person, and Boise State gives me a platform to be able to compete at the absolute highest level. As far as like making ends meet and like day to day activities, the time commitment's anything like what you would expect for a traditional collegiate sport. My contract, my player handbook obligates me to 20 hours a week of play/practice, partially within the organization, and then partially they have expectations for me to continue my game outside of scheduled practices and scheduled events. So it is a decent time commitment, but it's time that I'd be spending playing anyways.
Yeah. So now you just get to do it because you like it.
Exactly.
So being at that high level, that championship level, uh, what's that daily routine like for you?
So, to all the parents out there, I do go to class. You do have to go to class. It is once again, another one of those things in my contract is I do have to maintain at least a 3.0 GPA in order to keep my scholarship and eligibility to compete. So that's first and foremost my day. I structure my classes to be at the very start of my day so I can have that out of the way so I don't have to worry about interfering with events or practices or anything like that. So I start with I'll walk you through my schedule today. I go to class and then I will typically go and get something to eat. I will go to the gym and then I do replay work. I work behind the scenes for Boise State Esports as well when I'm not a player, and I will do replay for not only the Rocket League team but also the Overwatch team and Valorant team. I will typically do that for about 2.5, 3 hours a day. And then after that is when we get into the actual practices or games, depending on the day. So, like on Mondays, we're competing in our PEC matches. Those are at 6 p.m. every single Monday. If Tuesday through Thursday will be scrimmage days. So, Rocket League practice is focused very heavily around just scrimming against other teams. So we will do that, and then today we actually will do normally a scrimmage, and then we will look at replays ourselves and study mostly our own gameplay and where we can improve upon that. But we will also, especially with tournaments coming up, we will study teams that we know we're going to play. So that's a typical workload.
Whenever you're looking for scrimmages, do you just hop into a lobby and whoever jumps up, or are those scheduled?
Scrimmages are scheduled with very specific teams in private matches. It's not like we're jumping into just the ranked system and trying to take on the world. No, we will specifically scrim mainly other schools, but Rocket League, we also have the benefit of being able to scrim semi-pro and pro teams as well, because there's no real repetition is repetition.
Right.
Getting reps against other teams is good no matter who they are.
How well do you guys fare against those semi-pros and pro teams?
Boise State is actually competed together in the pro circuit. There is no like rule saying that like a collegiate team cannot also enter in the open qualifiers for RLCS, which is the Rocket League Championship Series. And Boise State as a trio placed one round off of the main event. So and main event is top 16. So we came 17th through 22nd was our best placement, and that's across all of the teams in North America. Of the 1,500 teams that sign up, we placed 17th as a trio.
Were you the top collegiate team?
At the time, yes, because we were coming off a second place finish in the Collegiate Rocket League National Championship, and the team that placed above us did not play in the RLCS circuit together.
All right. Let's find out real quick here. Last year in the Mountain West Conference, what means more to you, the Mountain West title or a PEC title, or they kind of hold the same weight?
They both matter. I told you earlier, I'm a competitive person. I like to win. So
Yeah.
both of them definitely matter. But in my experience and moving forward, PEC is recognized across the board as a national title, whereas the Mountain West is more regional, as well as the recruiting for the Power Esports Conference. The top of the Power Esports Conference is full of premier talent. So not only is it a national title, but also I am playing the best of the best. So winning against that feels just that much better. So both of them matter, but if you had to make me pick one, I'm going to say the PEC.
All right. Last year in the Mountain West, moving on to the Pac-12 next year, is that going to present any more challenges, or have you? I've seen you guys. It might not have been you. It might have been Overwatch. Did Oregon State this last week?
Oh, that was Overwatch.
Yeah. Okay.
So I already secured. Rocket League. We play our Mountain West championship in the fall, whereas everybody else plays it in the spring. Okay. So we're sitting pretty. We already won. We beat San Diego State in the finals 4-1. So
watch that. Great game.
But moving towards the Pac-12, if it poses any challenges, I'm not going to say challenges. I'm going to say opportunities. Once again, it's just opening up the door to play more talent, and iron sharpens iron. So getting to, I don't want to say experiment, but just get reps in against more teams is always going to be good.
Yeah. Whenever you're playing and you're practicing and stuff, do you guys ever go inter squad, like you play up against the Overwatch guys or the Smash Brothers guys? Do you guys ever compete outside of your specialty, I guess you could say?
To be honest, no, not really. If you mean in any sort of competitive sense, it's not viable to. I mean,
going up against your inner squad, just doing an inner squad, just for fun amongst the entire esports team.
We do
against each other.
We do plenty of like team activities that are separate from our individual games. I will never go against the Overwatch team in Overwatch. My pride cannot take that. I refuse to let that happen. And I'm sure they will say the same thing about Rocket League. The Overwatch team and the Valorant team do not want to try and play us. So we typically try and keep activities like that to third party games. I will gladly, and I have in the past, played other games with other teams, and I think it's really good just to strengthen the bond across the entire program, because it's easy. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
It's easy to fall into like little cliques within your specific game and not talk to other people in the program, but everybody's, if Doc recruited me, he also recruited plenty of other great individuals. And I think getting to connect with them has been really beneficial for me. I was actually just hanging out with two of the Valorant guys earlier, and I see them multiple times a week outside of the esports arena.
What are some of your favorite third-party games to play?
My personal favorite, you'll catch the Rocket League trio playing Apex Legends together quite often. I'm also a big Call of Duty guy. Boise State doesn't do any collegiate Call of Duty. Some schools do, and I always tell Doc, if you wanted to be a multi-sport athlete, you would pick up Call of Duty, and I would play it. So those two mainly, and then, to be honest, it stretches out into real sports. Me and Preston, my teammate, our third teammate or the third player that I've mentioned, haven't mentioned yet. He still owes me a 1v1 in basketball again. I love to hoop. I've played basketball for such a long period of my life, and getting to do that with the esports team is also like such a fun experience. So it's not just video games that I play with like the other people in the program. We'll go out and play real sports too. Like we played intramural flag football together as well. So we make sure to get active.
So I know a lot of with all the accolades that you have, I know that a lot of the pros have an extensive following in esports and gaming and such. Do you have a following with all the achievements that you've gained?
So I could try and sugarcoat it to you and say that I have a massive following, that everybody's just swooning to see me, but I would say my following is very niche. I have, somewhere in the realm between 1,000 and 1,500 followers on Twitter, but I have always said I'm a competitor first. I have not taken as much advantage of personality and content creation as I could have, but that's just because it hasn't been a priority for me, to be honest. I've always been a competitor first, and I feel like, not that I think content creation would take away from it, because you could definitely do both, but putting my effort into content creation just isn't something that I've dedicated myself to. So I'm not going to lie to you and say that I've just got everybody behind me. I'm more of like a, if you know type of name. Like people within the scene, obviously. Sorry.
For my follow-up, I was going to say, because I am a content creator, and and you did say that there's a certain amount of time that you get to play on your own. That could be an opportunity for you to go on Twitch, go on TikTok, and then warm up that following for yourself, as a collegiate athlete.
I should just hit the live button sometimes. I've been told that I could do it, but like it's a personal barrier that I feel like I just haven't decided to overcome.
Once you get famous, you can't go back.
No, exactly. It's a little scary. It's a little scary. I've gotten recognized more than once, either on campus or just out and about, and it doesn't freak me out, but I'm just like, oh my goodness. They're like, that's Woozy, and I'm like, whoa.
I know that feeling. I on my personal page, I used to chug beer all the time. Just that was my niche. And I was in Sam's Club one day and says, "You were on my TikTok." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, you were chugging beer on my TikTok." I'm like, "Well, all right then."
Let's go.
It's like one of those, you don't realize people know you until they say they know you. And like, well, I guess I'm somewhat famous now.
Exactly. So. They're like, "Oh my god, that's Woozy." So I say I don't have that big of a following, but I did have to explain to my parents that legitimately I think more people know Woozy than Cade. And that was something my parents did not believe until well after I came to college.
Yeah, it could be a culture shock for some people too. What are some of your favorite moments as a collegiate athlete? Obviously, you have the national title, the multiple Mountain West Conference titles, but aside from those, what are some less obvious favorite moments?
The wins speak for themselves. The rings speak for themselves. But for me, I think, honestly, just the idea of traveling. So we get to go to Hawaii for an invitational tournament next week. If you told me 5 years ago that I would get to travel the country and potentially the world playing a video game, just the sheer thought of that would blow my mind. So I think every single tournament that we get to travel, hop on a plane or hop on a bus, hop in a van and travel to, I make sure to soak up those experiences as much as possible. So just the idea of being at these places is really, really cool to me.
Yeah. You have a favorite game moment?
My favorite game moment, this goes back to the wins though. We were in the winner final of the PEC National Championship in Vegas this past year, and Michigan State kind of had us on our heels, and we were tied 1-1 in the series, really in a dogfight. And in that game 3, I know I scored 4 goals, and 3 of them were pretty much single-handed. And that moment sticks out to me as probably the decider. And that was the decider for almost everybody else that kind of propelled me towards a true MVP performance. So that's probably a strong personal achievement.
You guys
specifically.
Is it any different being behind a computer screen rather than being across court or across the field from somebody nerves wise, or is it kind of help you with nerves being you feel more isolated because you're just staring at a screen?
It's a good question. So I thought you were about to say like, well, yeah, what's the biggest difference? I was like, well, I'm sweating. I was gonna say I'm sweating less, but you'd be surprised how much my hands are sweating during these matches. No, nerves are at an all-time high because video games is so like all mental. Like I don't have that. I can't just when you play basketball or football, you're just like the other team's more physical than us. You don't have that in Rocket League as well. So like. I do get so there have been moments in my career where I've been so nervous, but I don't feel like I've ever been isolated because everything that we play for Boise State Esports, I do at least have both of my teammates right beside me. Plus at like these in-person tournaments and stuff like that, I'm staring right across from my opponents. So we will score a goal or they will score a goal and you can stand up and see the despair on their faces. So isolation isn't something I've had to worry about.
Do you like that? Do you like seeing the expression on their face?
Yes. Some people
ripping the soul out of them.
Some people prefer to like be behind the screen and they benefit from being online. Boise State, we benefit so much from being in person. We feed off of that energy of being around each other and then also being around the other teams. So that is something. It's not like we're like overly we're not overly like calling people out and trash talking, but just the energy of scoring a goal and knowing that you can see it. You can see it on the opponent's face when they're flustered.
Awesome.
And that really can help build momentum. So yes, I think I absolutely benefit from being next to somebody.
We had Doc on a couple of times, and he said that it's hard to play Boise State in person because of the following and the cowbells and the noise that these other people, they don't have that following.
Mm-hmm.
How does that, being the home team, I guess you could say, in all that, you play with all the cowbells while you're at home. Does that give you an advantage because you're already used to it? You're not distracted by it anymore going up against a team that doesn't have that? Or does your headphones kind of just cancel all that out?
I hear more than what you think. I hear more than what I think, but I actively, drown it out because you're so focused. We always say you get sucked into the monitor. You're locked in on the screen. So like, even if there is so many things happening outside, you don't hear it, but it definitely is an advantage. I told you I'm from Texas, and we had a tournament my freshman year, the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup National Championship. And this is the biggest tournament outside of Collegiate Rocket League, like the Premier Circuit. And we were the home team in Texas because I brought all of my friends, all of my family, and we were the loudest team with the loudest crowd. And it did legitimately have an impact on our opponents, especially when they're 10 feet away.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I would consider it an advantage at these in-person events.
Let's move into to your current year. You're currently second in scoring at 50 points, right behind your teammate Durtho has 54, and then you got Preston sitting at fourth with 45. What's it like playing with such an elite scoring duo alongside of you? You can seemingly score at will. What's it like being able to play, especially if you have a kind of an off game knowing that someone else can pick it up?
No, that's one of the best feelings in the world because it's good to have dynamic teammates. So it's funny that you mentioned, Preston and Durtho being so high, but like Preston is not a score first type of player. He is very defensive minded. And the fact that he can still be top 5 in the scoring shows how little work I actually have to do. When your teammates are that strong, it makes my job easier. If they're so focused on my teammates, then like I can kind of wander around willy-nilly and the opportunities come to me. And that's one thing I think Boise State we do really well is like everybody focuses so hard on like the goals themselves that go in, but not the opportunities that create them. And both of my teammates create so many opportunities for me to score and vice versa. So that's what I'm really thankful for is just the ability for us to just flow together. It doesn't matter. Like some days I know I've had best of 5 series where I've scored, 8 goals in 5 games. And like, that's a ridiculous amount. Or like, and then there's going to be some other series where we'll play 5 games and I score 1 time. And that I just have to be okay with that and understanding that my team we will all be able to adapt with whatever the win condition is in that current series.
Yeah. I think your first game of the spring leg here, what Durtho scored a hat trick with like 2.5 minutes into the spring leg of the season. You guys were I think it was Utah, if I remember right.
We did have a game against Utah that we won 12-2.
Yeah.
I think all of us had a hat trick in that one game.
It was pretty amazing. I'm like, this season barely even started, and there's already a hat trick on the board. Yeah. Yeah. So I was looking at the standings before the show and the scoring and everything, and the top 3 teams are you guys have 3 of the top 5, and then you have Baylor uh, is number 3, and then Michigan State has the number 4 scorer. So you guys right there coming off, you're in a 2-game skid with Baylor, or we're in a 2-game skid with Baylor and Michigan State. Both of them had great defenses. You played Baylor, I think, better than what you did round 1. And of course, Michigan State got you all this time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay focused in games when things aren't necessarily going your way? I know we talked a little bit how at Baylor it was closer than what the score appeared, which I agree. I mean, you guys were right in there within one goal. I think the first round was the biggest deficit, and it was only 2 goals. So, how do you bounce back from tough losses like that and move forward?
I mean, the simple answer is we we got to beat them when it matters, which is in Vegas on land, because Michigan State actually beat us in league play last year as well. And that was something. It's sometimes good to get punched in the mouth if you're riding all high and mighty all season and you never get tested. Your flaws will really show whenever it's time to, compete for a championship. So it's almost a blessing in disguise to lose to teams like that. But as far as bouncing back, it's just we're all competitors. We all have to understand that this is bigger than our pride. And if you let simple one-off mistakes or outplays from the other team, because sometimes your opponents will play well. I feel like a lot of competitors attribute their wins and losses strictly based on what they're doing. Sometimes your opponent will have good plays, and being able to see beyond that and see the bigger picture helps me completely mentally reset. Because if I get too lost in the moment, my current mistakes, then it's easy to spiral. It's kind of one of those things of like, I think, therefore I am. So if I think, I believe, I say this, we are going to win. If I'm in a game, we are going to win until it is literally mathematically impossible to do so, because that will produce the best level of gameplay.
I think that second game against Baylor, I think a lot of people thought you guys were out of it, and then you scored 2 quick goals, and in the final minute almost came down and got the third one to tie it up. I was like, oh, and like I said, it's been since our first interview with Doc, I think this fall, the Nevada game, Boise State versus Nevada football game. And I'm like, well, let's do some esports stuff. Let's get some of those guys in here. So we get everything going. And it wasn't until that I actually started paying attention to all the different esports programs that Boise State has, and actually watching it and getting the notifications whenever you go live on Twitch, so I can tune in, make sure that I'm there. I'm actually watching on YouTube now because Riley said it's better to watch on YouTube. So anyone watching Boise State esports on YouTube, they are playing Super Smash Brothers right now. So head on over there. Or after this show, head over there.
Don't leave.
But I sitting there and I'm watching, I'm going, I'm on the edge of my seat. You don't realize you're on the edge of the seat, but you may not understand what's going on, but you're on the edge of the seat going, oh my God, this is exciting. I don't know what I'm rooting for, but it's exciting. Just listening to the announcers, they do a great job getting people not really hyped, because they're not really hyping, but just in their tone, getting people kind of, oh yeah, I like this.
Makes everybody sit up a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, I'm going, I don't know what's going on, but I know Boise State's doing good. So let's go. And it's fun to watch. And even if you don't know what it is or what's going on, you can tell when things are going good and when things are going bad, and whenever it's coming right down to the wire. And it's just a great watch. Unless you have heart problems, you might not do.
Sound like my mom. my mom was like, "Hey, you're giving me a heart attack. You're giving me a heart attack." But that's one thing we really benefit from. Rocket League, my grandmother has watched me compete in Rocket League, and she can tell what's going on because I'm like, Granny, ball in the goal. Whoever scores more wins. And that having such a simple win condition in Rocket League versus some other esports might be a little more difficult to follow if you're not already familiar with gaming in general. Whereas like Rocket League, it's like everybody knows soccer, everybody knows cars. The cars can fly. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. It was a really eye-opening experience for me. And that being said, we have all those exciting moments as a fan. And I know we talked about some of your favorite moments, but what are those exciting moments like on the other side of the computer screen for the player?
It's an unmatched feeling. It's a feeling I chase every single day, and and I can only get it in few intervals. Everybody who competes in anything knows that just like the act of being there. I remember, so I go back to that collegiate esports commissioners cup in Texas, and that stage that you're standing on is huge. And that was the first time where there were over 1,000 people watching me live in person. And then there were additional thousands of people watching online. Being on that type of stage is and you've got me almost getting goosebumps just like thinking about it. Just getting to be, once again, I go back to the whole experience thing. Just getting to be in these places is honestly my favorite thing. Actually, I was gonna say also my favorite experiences. This is a niche one that people don't talk about, but there will be certain events that we'll go to, and being a player at some of these events opens doors that you wouldn't otherwise expect. I always think, for me, I'm always like, hey mom, look at my player badge. I get to go backstage. And sometimes I still geek out about that, but it's like, I'm supposed to be here and I'm still just excited that I get these like exclusive perks.
Yeah. Those always feel nice.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, I get access to like the backstage. Oh, there's food back here.
Do you have any siblings or anything?
I do. I have 2 younger brothers.
So do you like get them up there and they'll be like, hey guys, why don't you come follow me, and then go someplace that they can't go and then turn around and laugh at them?
I should have. I don't know. I need to take more advantage of this. To be honest, though, anywhere where Boise State can go, if you've got Doc with us, I can get anybody anywhere if I've got the Doc vouch.
Right. All right.
No need to sneak anybody anywhere.
Get up under a big old trench coat. No, I'm just this big. All right. Little Rascals flashbacks. Let's see. All right. Let's look ahead to Kansas. You got Kansas, and then you have the Hawaii Invitational later this week, or next week, I should say. But let's start with Kansas first. What are some of the challenges Kansas is going to present? And I mean, they're not real great. Should be another Utah-esque win. But what are you guys looking forward to capitalizing on this week against Kansas?
It's all about staying disciplined. Doc's trying to instill in all of us, all across all of the programs, of you play everything like it's 0-0. Staying disciplined even when you are winning is a skill in and of itself, and I think that's something that we are going to try and practice. Even if we feel like we're in control, things can change so quickly, and the last thing we want to do is get caught off guard because we were not completely locked in, because that has happened in the past for us and for other teams. Anybody can speak on this, where you feel like you should be better than a team, but preparation and care can really take over if you don't have it and the other team does. So that's going to be something definitely to focus on against Kansas. Plus, that is a university that we've had extended history with. We've been matching up against that. Even if the rosters shuffle over time, that is a program that definitely is sick and tired of losing to us. So don't think that they're just going to bow down to us and let us win.
Yeah, because you already have the other team trying to beat you. You don't want to beat yourself too. So
exactly.
I do remember Doc being on the show and talking about that composure that is needed. I mean, you're having fun, but like you do have to have that level of consistency and composure.
It is still business.
All right. Just trying to All right. I was just looking at. I'm sitting here going, "Do you guys already play Kansas?" I'm over here looking. It looks like the Super Smash Brothers is playing Kansas tonight as well. So
Sometimes scheduling happens, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that's really nice about esports is the flexibility of almost everything schedule related, because you don't have to be in person with the other team, and travel distances. You don't have to worry about that. It's like, do I have an internet connection?
Right.
Yes. All right, let's go.
Does that happen often? You get a team that says, "Hey, we're not available. Not everybody's available this day. Can we go ahead and move this up?" Is there any restrictions on being able to do that if something comes up, or is it pretty much, "Hey, we need to stick to this schedule"?
It depends on the circuit you're competing in and everything like that. So obviously, anything tournament related, no, you got to stick to the schedule. The bracket has to keep moving forward.
Right.
Set league play matches that are non-playoff matches can have a little bit of flexibility to them, more so with the Mountain West than with the Power Esports Conference. The Power Esports Conference is on a pretty tight schedule because you have so many teams competing in so many games on a block schedule that they want to keep track. That's a lot of content to keep track of.
Yeah.
But we're not. Especially me as a player, like I want to win. Taking a forfeit win like doesn't feel the same as like actually winning 3-0. So I'll do everything in my power to be able to actually play out matches, even if it's in sub-ideal conditions. But it's more flexibility than traditional sports. But don't think that we just get to, no, let's cancel and we'll play it another day. It's not that loose. Absolutely not.
All right. So we talked about Kansas. Let's move into Hawaii. How does those invitationals work? They just invite like any other invitational, invite a bunch of teams, and then they all go at it on the islands, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top.
Think about the basketball team.
Yeah.
They went to the pretty similar. Pretty
All
similar.
right.
Let's go out there and give it our best shot against a lot. So for us, this will be a lot of overlap with the PEC. The top 4 PEC teams will be there. So it's extra reps in that sense. Even though the Hawaii Invitational is a standalone tournament, it is good practice to be able to prepare for the PEC National Championship. But the trophy, I don't know if y'all know this, but the trophy for the Hawaii Invitational is a surfboard.
Nice.
It is a massive surfboard, and the Valorant team won it last year. I am not leaving Hawaii without a surfboard. So,
and you'll get a chance then against Michigan and Baylor,
yes,
Michigan State and Baylor to exact your revenge and bring it home.
Exactly.
Baylor's undefeated, so it'd be poetic justice to hand them their loss in the championship.
Exactly.
In Hawaii.
Exactly. They don't.
So
know
are you guys going to make it? Are you guys going to make that invitational like an event, and go do the tourist stuff, enjoy it? Or are you guys just going in there, and then grabbing that hardware and leaving?
Mm-hmm. So Doc tells us, we are playing a tournament. It just so happens to be in Hawaii. The focus does have to be on, it is a privilege that I'm even there in the first place. I need to tend to my responsibilities. However, I will not be competing 24 hours a day. Competition only lasts so long. So I will be taking advantage. I have to have a coconut in my hand, a coconut drink in my hand. Like it has to happen because I'm in Hawaii. The opportunity is there. When I have the time, I will take advantage of it.
Are we going to get videos of a fire dance?
You might. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Put enough coconut drinks in your hand, we can. All right. Nick, do you have any more game related questions before we jump into this lightning round that I forgot to do at the start?
No, I just want to pour into what you were saying about, the experience of just, a casual person just jumping in on esports. I did the same. Rocket League makes me more excited. I love that. I get soccer, I get cars, and I really, really get rockets. And all 3 of them. I think it's really exciting. I really like watching you play and stuff. So I think that if you're out there, Bronco Nation, and you haven't given it a shot, do it. It's pretty entertaining. I do it.
All right. You ready for the most controversial lineup of questions you'll ever answer in your life?
I think so.
All right, let's get into it. Obviously, you may not have one of these. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. Favorite warm-up song?
Ooh, favorite warm-up song. Right now, Still in the Paint, Denzel Curry. Go.
Favorite Boise restaurant?
Luciano's.
Does pineapple go
Oh,
on pizza?
that's good.
I worked in the pizza shop. Yes, it can.
Stanley or Owala?
Stanley.
Yeti or Arctic?
Yeti.
Fry sauce or ketchup?
Ketchup.
Favorite sport to watch that's not esports?
Basketball.
Snow or beaches?
Beaches.
And if you're stuck on an island, what 3 items do you bring?
I'm bringing. Shoot, I don't know. That's not a lightning question. I have to think about that.
That's how you know if you have a fight or flight or a survival mentality.
Yeah. Can't just jump into that. I gotta prep for that. Probably some sort of light. This was some sort of lighter, some sort of we'll just say a lighter, some sort of purified water because we don't know the whole water situation. And then I don't know, a nice big blanket because the biggest blanket I can find.
That is probably the first time we've heard water purifier and blanket. I think we've had lighter before. Most people say cell phone so they can call and get it right off.
I'm under the assumption that I'm not getting any service on this island. It's the survival mentality.
Yep. I like it.
All right. Well, Uzi, you want to tell everybody where they can find you on your socials and all that other fun stuff?
Sure. So obviously there's Boise State Esports across all domains, but for me personally, my tag is Woozy World, WUZYWRLD on both Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Across all three, it's the exact same. Yep, WUZYWRLD. And that's the best place to find me and keep up to date on tournament placements and just general activities. Maybe some random thoughts from me.
All right. And what's one thing you want to tell Bronco Nation, people that may not know who you are, just tuning in? What's your message to Bronco Nation tonight?
Hey, I bleed blue to the day I die. Let's go. I may not be from Idaho, but coming to Boise State and being a part of this culture, this family is something that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I hope that everybody else feels the same way, a part of Bronco Nation.
All right.
You're a Bronco man.
Yep. So I do have one more question, and just because I saw it on the YouTube chat right here, and because he's about to come up, Mata, do you ever fight the urge to go up and say, "What's a motto with you"?
Kind of, yeah. I do have to fight that urge sometimes.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Cade, and we look forward to watching you next week against Kansas and then in the Hawaii Invitational. If you want to stick around for the rest of the show, it's great. Otherwise, we'll try and get you on later on, maybe a championship preview or something.
There we go. I look forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Cade.
Thanks, gentlemen. Y'all have a good night.
When it comes to painting, precision matters. Crosby Custom Coatings, led by Scott Crosby since 1979, delivers elite craftsmanship for homes and businesses across Boise. With attention to detail and a commitment to excellence, they make every surface shine. Call Crosby Custom Coating today at 208-370-4696 and bring color and quality to your world. That's 208-370-4696.
All right, and we're back, Bronco Nation. We're going to get into some other sports, specifically men's and women's basketball, some track, some tennis, gymnastics. But before that, we did lose somebody dear to Bronco Nation. This week, we found out that Buzz Connor passed away. He's a former Boise State head basketball coach, and he was the one who led the Broncos to their first NCAA championship tournament. He passed away at the age of 93. So I just want to give a moment of silence for Buzz. Very unfortunate. They were actually going to have their 50-year reunion of that first tournament invite on February 21st. But now they'll just be able to celebrate Bus's life, and very very important figure for taking the program into that next step. And I'm hoping that this year will be the year that we actually make it in a tournament and get a win. So let's do it.
Do you mind if I read what the Boise State released real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Former Boise State head men's basketball coach Buzz Connor, who led the Broncos to their first NCAA Division I tournament appearance, passes away last weekend. He was 93. Beginning his coaching career in the mid-1950s, Connor spent over 40 years in the profession until his retirement in 2008. Having coached at the high school, community, college, and Division I level, Connor served Boise State and its various sports programs for more than 20 years. Originally taking over men's basketball midway through the 1972-73 campaign, Connor was the second head coach in team history. At the helm for 7+ seasons, until 1980, Connor collected 93 wins during his tenure. Before taking over as head coach of the varsity squad, Connor was the head coach for the freshman team and an assistant on staff. He was also the head tennis coach and an assistant coach for the football team in his time at Boise State. Lauded for his service and many contributions, Connor is known for the success of the 1975-76 men's basketball team. He led the squad to an 18-11 overall record, making the second time the team finished a season above 500 as a D1 school. That year, Boise State finished atop the Big Sky for the first time in its first 6 seasons as a member institution and won the league title. Garnering Big Sky Conference Basketball Coach of the Year honors, Connor led the Broncos to their second ever NCAA tournament appearance and first at the Division I level. During his time at the helm, Connor coached his son Steve, who played 4 collegiate seasons under his father's guidance. Playing for Bus, Steve averaged nearly 18 points per game from 1974 to 78 and was the 1987 inductee into the Boise State Hall of Fame. A native of Burley, Idaho, Connor graduated from Hayburn High School and attended Idaho State University. He first became acquainted with Boise State in 1966 when the university was named Boise College. Bus's son, Brett, is currently the primary PA announcer for all home men's basketball games at Extra Mile Arena. The 1975-76 men's basketball team will have a 50-year reunion on February 21st in celebration of the first conference championship in program history.
All right. So we're going to do a little bit of some review and some preview. Tell us what's going on in track and field.
Yes. Hold on. Where's it at? So they competed. They're actually competing right now, or today, tomorrow, and Saturday in Seattle, I believe. And I am not finding my notes on this. I apologize. There it is. Nope, that's not it either.
While Sam's doing that,
Sorry.
the gymnastics team finished runner-up on their quad meet last Friday at home. They placed second. They did get an equalizer against Air Force. Unfortunately, Utah State finished above Boise State. So somewhere down the road, they're going to have to get an equalizer on them as they go to defend the regular season championship. Sydney Coe was your your champion on the beam, and overall a good showing. They are now they're now 1-2 in conference. So again, they're just gonna they have another meet coming up tomorrow, and they are going to be taking on San Jose, Sacramento State, and I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
That better?
It's good to I think so. They are taking on San Jose State tomorrow, Oregon State, and UC Davis in another quad meet at home for My Cause Alumni Night. So if you can make it down there, give them some support. I believe they just last week they broke a attendance record. So that's sweet, man. Let's continue to support that elite program. It's not every program can boast that they have back-to-back regular season championship gymnastics teams as they're going into their final year of the Mountain West and going forward into the Pac-12. So we could just use all the momentum that we can. Did you find your stats on the track and field?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
All right. So Kaya Robertson, great athlete. She recorded the fastest indoor mile time and the fourth fastest 800-meter time in program history on Friday and Saturday last week. Alex Kilby claimed first place in the men's 5,000 meter. There's 25 in that race. As a whole, across both days, the Broncos collected 23 collegiate best marks, ran their fastest times as a college athlete, and had 5 top 5 finishes. So most notably, Bianca Bonke, I hope I said that right, got fourth in the 3,000 meter for the women's with a time of 9:17.99. And if you think that's slow, I dare you to go out and run 3,000 meters. And of course, Kaya Robertson with her first place in the 800 meter, Alex first place in the 5,000 meter, and then Braylon Baggett got fourth place in the 5,000 meter as well. So a lot of good running for the Broncos, and really just picking up where they left off in the cross country season in the fall. Also in the Miles City event, which happened on Saturday, Kaya Robertson got third in the mile invite, which I'm assuming is just the next tier up from the actual mile. It's the elite mile runners. Nick, you could probably confirm that one or not. And then for the men, Alex Thompson, he got fourth in the mile. So running a time of 4:02. So that's all. This was just a track event. The event that's going on currently right now is the UW Invitational. It is in Seattle. Or excuse me, that was the UW Invitational. Sorry, I got the wrong thing pulled up here. It is the Riverfront Invitational, which is still in Washington, just in Spokane. So that one has all field and track events, and we will have those stats for you later on in the show, or not in the show, next week. We'll have those stats next week.
Do you want to dip into tennis, or you want me to cover some women's basketball?
Oh, the tennis more of the same. Some good. Oh, hold on a second. I want to pop this up here. I saw a comment because it relates to track. Sunbelt Syndicate. This is probably Dominic on the other end here. Says 4:02 is crazy, freaking crazy, and I agree. I think the fastest I've ever run a mile is It was in the fours, but it wasn't 4:02, and it was a split on the 3,200 meter in high school, and I was like in the 4:20s, 4:25s, and I was gassed. I didn't want to do it anymore. And then he wants to know, what's your mile time, Nick?
Oh, mine. My PR is about 6:30 ish, so right around there, and that's for me. That's pretty freaking fast.
Yeah.
4:02 is just mind-boggling to me, and I'm very impressed with, and I'm not jealous at all. It takes, people think that running is just running. No, it takes a lot to get that kind of speed, and especially if for marathon runners like me, to prolong, those, you got people that can be in the fours for 26.2 miles. It's just mind-boggling. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it whenever I was a beanpole. I couldn't do it now. I weigh about 4 times what I weighed in high school. I probably double, not really 4 times. I probably weigh double what I weighed in high school. I just realized that 4 times means I'm 400 pounds, and that's not the case. So, tennis-wise, there's quite a few tennis matches this week. In fact, I actually had to make 3 tickers of tennis, which you saw 'em running along the bottom of the screen a little bit earlier. Um, but you had they played BYU. They lost to BYU 3-4 to start their season or to start the weekend at Boaz Indoor Tennis Center there in Boise. They turned around and they beat Montana State 6-1. And speaking of Montana State, they just beat Boise State in club hockey 6-2, so they got their revenge. Uh, and then they turned around and on Monday, I can get to it. They beat Santa Clara. Actually, it was not Monday. They beat Santa Clara 7-0. So the women's teams, they're doing good. They're on a roll. They've got some really good games in over the weekend, and it's going to be an interesting season. I think they could probably maybe get some people ranked if they can get hot at the right time. So it's going to be a fun season to watch the tennis team. Men's tennis weren't in action this weekend, so got no men's tennis action to speak of.
And Zadina is just elite, and she continues just to be elite. And
Yep.
I'm glad she's a Bronco fan.
All right, you want to talk about some women's basketball?
Yeah, I will cover some women's basketball, then we'll get into the men's. Just exciting times for different reasons in both men's and women's basketball. For the women's, everyone should be just super pumped for this team. They are just performing at what we thought they could perform at, and they're riding an 8-win streak. They won just yesterday against.
You're going yesterday. I went a week away. Hold on.
Oh.
Let me pull that up.
Okay. They won yesterday against a pretty. I mean, it was a lowly Nevada team, but they were really scrappy, and we kind of had a hunch about that. We talked about that with Maya Hansen earlier in the week on Monday. But the Broncos overcame an 11-point deficit behind a strong performance from sophomore Libby Hutton, extending that winning streak to 8. And they haven't done this since the 2017-2018 season, where they won the regular season, and I believe they won the they won a Mountain West championship. They went to the tournament. So your top Broncos were Libby Hutton. She tallied 16 points with 6 rebounds. Natalie Pasco scored another 14 points with 4 boards. And then Maya notched 12 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists. And Maya's about 4 points shy of hitting that 1,000 point club. So, but yeah, the stars weren't aligned. Tatum and Danny were, kind of, things weren't working out for him. Also, Tatum was battling some foul trouble. So was Libby, but Libby got her player of the game. But yeah, just overall a great gritty win by the women, and that's what champions do, man. They even though Nevada is down towards the lower end of the conference, they had two of their more established post players in foul trouble, so they really did have to work the bench in, and I thought they did. That's awesome. That's what championship teams do. They're 12-1 at home. They're winning their home games. The one home game that they lost against Grand Canyon, they went back over to Phoenix and took that back, and then now they're winning road games as well. They have a tough upcoming game against New Mexico. New Mexico comes to town on Saturday, so they'll need Bronco Nation support. Right now, New Mexico is 16-7 and 8-4 in the Mountain West, so they're right up there in the upper echelon. Boise State, after San Diego State lost to Grand Canyon yesterday, finds himself only 2 games out of first place for the regular season. So, with the way that these Broncos are playing right now, regular season championship is not out of a possibility, especially when they're going and they're going to be playing the teams that are in front of them one more time. So,
and this is your is this year 5 or year 6 of your standard for Gordy?
This is year 5. This is year 5. It's actually kind of over year 5, but I think that you do get grace if you're like a legend like Gordy. As a fan, he does frustrate me at times, but then he gets his team motivated. He's got a culture that works. As Maya was saying, they've only lost 3 people to the transfer portal in the last 3 years, which is in this era of college sports, that's it's really surprising to me, and I didn't even think about it until she said something, and it was like, oh yeah, you're right, because I could name all 3 of them, and I couldn't name.
They've lost more people in softball and gymnastics than they have in basketball.
Correct. So yeah, this is they have a 5-year drought, but I think they have a really good shot at the regular season championship or the the tournament championship, and I hope that they can make that breakthrough, because these 4 seniors deserve to be in the tournament. So
yeah,
right now,
if you want to learn about the standard that Nick's talking about, head on over to BroncoNationUpdates.com, and where exactly is it on the website that they can read the standard at?
You can type it in to the search feature at the top of the website. Just put in the standard, and you can read about the standard and where every coach sits, where they've won a conference championship.
All right. Well, the men had a rocky start last weekend, losing to Grand Canyon in Arizona, but they did manage to come out on top against Nevada and take that one in front of I don't know if you call it a lackluster crowd, but it was definitely a crowd that could have been bigger. There's 9,000, 9,200, 9,800. Hold on a second. It's taking forever to load. There we go. Not that one. There we go. Sorry. It's about to get loud. I got sirens about to pass. But 9,200. An overtime win against Nevada. Yeah, people say the big headlines have been, oh, they blew a 20-point lead. That 20-point lead was very early on in the first half when the score was 30-10. And I remember a Boise State team that overcame a 20 point plus deficit to take San Diego State to overtime. And Nick, you want to go over some of these stats? I'm going to mute real quick. It's about to get loud.
Yeah. So real quick. So you in the first half, everything was clicking very well. They and I was one of those people that said that they blew it, and Sam kind of called me on that. But if you do put things in perspective, they were down by quite a bit to San Diego State, and they came back. But
yeah, and
yeah,
Comer and Camper, the two C's for Nevada, they could not miss in the late in the first half and on into the second half, except for the two air balls that were really nice to see. But I mean that basket was wide open for them. They were making everything they were throwing up, and that's part of the reason Nevada was able to get up to it. So, but your player of the game for this game was none other than Mr. Dylan Andrews, who hit a very clutch 3-point. We've been waiting all year to call Dylan Andrews' name in the same sentence as being clutch. With 45 seconds left, nailed the 3-pointer to put Boise State up for good in overtime. He had finished with 25 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and only had the 2 turnovers in 35 minutes of play. And Boise State beats Nevada to even the series up 91-87 and avoids another series sweep. It's still a long road to hoe for Boise State as far as the standings. They're 6-6 in the Mountain West right now. A win against Grand Canyon earlier this week or last weekend would have been great for Boise State, but you can't win them all, and all you can do is come in. And for whatever reason, Boise State just does not match up well with Grand Canyon, and hopefully we don't have to face them in the tournament. And maybe some of the guys are saying hopefully we do face them in the tournament. That way they can get their revenge on them. But they are, as it sits now, they are 1, 2, 3, 6, sixth in conference right now. So they'd be a 6th seed in the tournament. But they're 4 games outside of first place. Utah State and San Diego State tied at 10-2 atop the standings, with New Mexico, who just got thumped by Utah State in the pit, is sitting at 9-3, with Grand Canyon at 8-3 and Nevada at 8-4. New Mexico getting thumped in the pit by Utah State may actually prove to be something good for Boise State, because we do play them at the pit Saturday night. So we beat them at home. Now if we can go and beat them at their place and really send them reeling, that'll be a very good win. I meant to look up the net for them real quick. Pull that up. Well, it never runs fast when you want it to. So right now, Boise State is all the way back up to in the 50s in the net. They're up to 59 with a 2-6 quad 1 record. There's some Power 4 teams that are going to make it into the tournament that don't have as good a record as that. So we'll see how that plays out. They're 3-1 in the quad 2, with their lone loss being Grand Canyon. 6-1 in quad 3, with the lone loss being the overtime one to UNLV, and then undefeated in quad 4. New Mexico is a quad 1 game. So, and Utah State, we have Utah State as well. That's another quad 1 game. So Boise State has 2 opportunities to hit another quad 1 game. San Diego State, if they can keep winning, that might be a third opportunity to be a quad 1 game, but they're going to have to jump 14 points before they come to Boise for that to happen. And then Colorado State, the last game of the year, is right now a quad 2. But if Colorado State can put together a winning streak, they could be a quad 1, getting in that top 75 come the end of the year. Or March 7th is when that game is. So there's some great resume building wins that Boise State can have that can define whether they're going to be on the outside of a bubble team versus on the inside of a bubble team, regardless of how they finish the regular season. I don't think Boise State gets into the tournament without a deep run in the Mountain West Conference tournament. So even if they go undefeated between now and the end of the season, I don't know with their past transgressions if they're going to be considered a good enough team for an at-large bid unless they make a deep Mountain West Conference run. So we have all that. Said all that to say this: you need to show up and support so that they get as much advantage as they can, and stay for the whole game so that teams can't come back whenever the arena goes silent because, oh, we're up by a lot, we can go home now. Stay for the whole thing. Make them be up by a lotter. I know that's not a word, but they whenever you leave, the atmosphere of the arena changes, and that's when teams get those large comeback victories. So go to the game, stay all game, and cheer them on to victory. And yeah,
We got to give Bronco Nation props for that Nevada game because
yeah,
even though there was only 9,200 and at the end, maybe less, probably less than that, they were still really loud, and that's that really just proves what Sam's talking about here is when you got a crowd and when the team needs the crowd to get into it and build up the pressure on the other team, that really helps. And so there's nothing we can do about the Utah State and the New Mexico game, but we can do something about the San Diego State game because they're coming to our place. Unless you can fly down to New Mexico and then make that same 4-hour trip that the Utah fans made from Logan up to Boise, maybe we can return the favor and do that to them and take over theirs. But Utah State, props to them. They're a really good team. They just took it to New Mexico, and I think that we did say that about Grand Canyon, losing that thriller to Nevada. We were hoping that would have them, down so that we could go in and take one from there. This may be a little bit different where Utah State kind of punked them just like they punked us at home. Hopefully coming off that Nevada game where we pulled it out in overtime, let's ride this momentum and see if we could take one in the pit. It's going to be a tall order, but it's going to take everybody, playing near flawless ball and taking care of the, limiting the turnovers, making your free throws, and getting those boards in the paint. Every time they get a lot of rebounds, we have a really good shot at winning. So hopefully they do those three things for us.
yeah. Moving on to esports, I know we had Kate Hall on earlier from the Rocket Team esports, but that's just Rocket League. Last week, Boise State ended their series with Michigan State losing in Super Smash Brothers 2-0. The Smash Brothers teams, they're really starting to come alive. They made it all the way to the Mountain West Conference Championship game in the fall, and I think they're going to start finding what works for them and do better things. They have the doubleheader tonight. Right now, they're up on Kansas 1-0. I did not catch what their final score was for the game against Michigan's Baylor. For the game against Baylor, I didn't catch what the final score for that one was. But they are up on Kansas right now. It is a good one. When you're done watching here, head on over to YouTube. Search Boise State Esports, and it'll pop right up for you. And watch that if you're interested in how they're going to finish the night. But they did lose to Michigan State 2-0. Right now, Boise State is number 6 in the PEC. Michigan State was number 1 at the time they played. On the second, Rocket League ranked number 2 in the PEC at 9-3 behind Baylor, who is 10-0, and they lost to Baylor 3-1. That one was a lot closer than that score suggests. The largest margin of victory was a 2-point victory by Baylor in the first game, and then Boise State evened it up at 1-1, and then Baylor won the final 2. But it was really, really close the entire time. Really fun to watch. If you're not haven't been watching it, go take a look. I mean, worst you can say is no, I don't like it. But do go. Just like us, we ask that you follow or subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can monetize. Subscribe to the Boise State Esports so they can monetize. They don't get all the traditional funding per se that some of these bigger schools get or bigger programs get. So helping them monetize and watching their stuff, I'd rather you watch their stuff than our stuff. Is weird as that sounds, because that's going directly to the program as well. Whenever we monetize, we send it to the program, but if you watch their stuff, it goes directly to the program. So go watch and have fun there. Overwatch, they're ranked number 2 at 7-3, and they beat Baylor, who's ranked 7 at 2-8. They beat them 3-0. And then of course the Valorant team, they beat Oregon State 3-1. Or excuse me, it was a double. Excuse me, the Overwatch was a doubleheader against Oregon State. They beat Oregon State 3-1 on Tuesday. Wednesday, the Valorant team, who's ranked number 1 now, surprisingly, even though Ohio State is still undefeated, Boise State is 11-2, I believe, and so they're actually considered 1. But it's Boise State and Ohio State. They're going to be the top 2 in the PEC. Probably going to be the ones that are playing for the national championship as well. But Boise State did beat Baylor 2-0, and Baylor's ranked 8 there. Up next, obviously tonight, you have the playing Baylor, Super Smash Brothers playing Baylor tonight, and Kansas. And then, of course, we talked about them. They've got Kansas all next week outside of Super Smash Brothers, and then the Hawaii Invitational, where the top 4 PEC schools will be represented out there. So with that, the week ahead, we kind of been telling you what's been coming up as we've been saying everything. But if you want to look at it, go to broncosports.com, click on the composite calendar. Everything's there for all of Boise State sports. If you want to go to a specific sports page, just go look them up. Read some of those articles on that website. Good stuff. Very informative, some of it. And all the stats we get, we mostly pull from there anyway. So you can go up there and take a look. And then if you miss something tonight or just want to see what's up, then go for it. But final thoughts, Nick. Why don't you give us a little rundown of what serving Bronco Nation is, and how can a business find their way to serving Bronco Nation?
Before we do that, do you like my screensaver? Today is opening day.
I almost forgot.
It is opening day for softball. One of my favorite programs. They're all my favorite programs, but I grew up loving baseball. We don't have a baseball team, but we have a softball team. And they started their 2026 season tonight. Right now they are taking on Loyola Marymount of California. They're in Fullerton right now on ESPN Plus. Currently they are down 3-0 in the bottom of the fifth. They've been going through some. They had a lot of changes. They lost a lot of power last year. They have new assistant coaches. We are planning on having a couple legends on for a preview show leading into the Blue Collar Classic when they come back to Boise. As always, we play softball on Boise, Idaho. And in February, when the season kicks off, it's normally pretty cold or there's snow on the ground. So they travel to the warm places. So they kicked off their season today. And then they have a whole weekend full of ball. So tomorrow they have their first doubleheader. At 4:00, they're playing Ole Miss. That's going to be a big game. And that, again, is in Fullerton. That's part of the Easton Classic. And then in the second game of that, they are playing Cal State for Fullerton, and that one will be on ESPN Plus. All these games that they're playing in the Easton Classic, the only ones that are going to be are being televised are the ones against Fullerton because they're the host. Then on Saturday, they have another doubleheader, and they are playing Cal State Northridge at 1:30 p.m. That'll be on only trackable on live stats. And then in the evening at 4 o'clock, they are playing Portland State in Fullerton again. And then they will cap the weekend off on Sunday by playing Cal State Fullerton again. And that will be the coverage will be on ESPN Plus, and that's at 11 a.m. So, follow us on Bronco Nation updates. We follow softball better than anybody else. We're tracking their stats. It's a privilege. You get to watch these players come in, and you get to watch them all 4 years of them, and then you get to bring them on the show after they become legends, and they get to contribute to the in our show. So it's awesome. I'm so happy that softball's back. It's really crazy for us though to cover that because there's so many games. They play like 50 some games in a short period of time. By the time May comes around, that's it. And then you're stacking like 50, 60 games, including tournaments, into like 3 months. So it's a wild trip.
22 games before they come back home.
Yep. And that's, it's because we live in Boise. And so they're out playing in the sun and the warmer temperatures, and then they come back home. And that's why we do our preview leading into that weekend.
All right. Now, why don't you talk about Serving Bronco Nation and how can a business jump on the directory?
Yeah, Serving Bronco Nation is for any small business, local, national, wherever you're at. We'd love to partner with you. And then, we're always creating content, doing shows, doing articles. And when you jump on the Serving Bronco Nation directory, we work for you, and we love doing it because we love covering our sports. We're venturing into other things like, Sam's got bourbon, beer, and basketball. So that's another opportunity to reach another market. So, when you get on the directory, we're going to put in the work for you. Nothing's given, it's all earned. And we want to earn, your support and we use that money for and deliver that to the Broncos. So, but we're going to build the content, we're going to put it out, and then you're going to be on the team and get that exposure with this. Currently, we get about 2.2 million views per month. So,
and you get your fancy little name and logo on these player cards. We do this for both basketball and football as well. And I think we should start. We'll probably do some for softball as well, right, Nick? Now that that's kicking off.
Yeah, we do have a comment here in regards to the bourbon, beer, and basketball. So I think it's a biased comment for sure.
Yeah. So that's Dominic. He's on our show. He gives us a good East Coast feel out of the Sunbelt Syndicate. We do talk about a whole lot of different conferences and a bunch of different teams. It's more of a national show than a regional show. So I know this is Bronco Nation Live and we're Bronco Nation Updates on YouTube, but we also want to reach everybody and bring them in as well.
And we know how to tie this all together so that we're all happy. One happy family playing brackets together, winning prizes. It's going to be awesome, man.
Yep. and tune into the show Wednesday nights, every Wednesday night at 7:30 Central Time, 6:30 Mountain Time. Uh, we are going to have a bracket challenge where you can win prizes. So uh, you're going to want to tune into the show and pick our brains and see where all the things that we're uh, talking about. So you know what, these guys are idiots. I'm going to pick exactly opposite what they think, or you know what, I'm going to follow them. So it's a win-win. I mean, you're either gonna think that we don't know what we're talking about, and you're gonna do good and win our prizes, or, you're gonna like what we have to say, and you're gonna do good and win our prizes. So, tune into the show so you never miss anything like that. Next week, I do have in the works, we have a high school, coach that wants to, come on that's not Jonathan Yates, uh, and, talk about what the portal and everything and the NIL is doing to, the athletes. He may not be a high school, he might be one of the lower D division schools, now that I think about it. Anyway, but he wants to give the story of what the agents aren't telling the kids whenever they enter into the portal, and we're gonna have him on, next Wednesday night as well for, Bourbon Beer and Basketball. And you said we have several different shows. We just wrapped up the college football roundtable, with, Dominic was on that as well. We had Todd Sandberg from Todd Talks College Football. He was on. Then we had Casey Wick. He came on for a little bit, and there's another one that I'm missing. I drawn a blank. Anyway, but we'll pick that back up again whenever college football starts up again. But if you want another football show here in March, I think it's March. We are going to start up a UFL for the spring football league, the professional spring football league, with Todd Sandberg and his son Jack Sandberg are going to be on that one. Nick, are you going to join us on that one too, or you going to bow out of that one?
I may be probably just entrenched in softball for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could make a guest appearance and give you some hot takes. That's
Yep.
for sure.
Yep. So, but we are going to have that, and it's all going to be right here, Bronco Nation Live. And before you say, "Well, that has nothing to do with Boise State," yeah, it does. It creates watch hours, and this channel is geared towards getting nil money to Boise State, and we need the watch hours and we need the subscribers in order to monetize and be able to do that. So, yeah, it may not be, oh, it's not Boise State related, I'm not going to tune in, or why are you even having a show like that? It's so that we can reach another audience that can help with those metrics that determine monetization. So, and that's all we're here for. We're here to earn money to give to Boise State, and we're constantly coming up with ideas to be able to do that.
And plus, there may be ex Broncos in the UFL. You never
Yep.
know.
Yep.
We had we had we had a kicker not just too long ago, and he made a game-winning field goal and was all over. He was a viral sensation after that. Tyler Rasa, and then he actually coached for Boise State for a few years until just recently, where he's he's still there. And so he had his opportunity, and who knows, we'll probably have more Boise State Broncos in the UFL trying to get their own opportunity. So
Yep.
I mean, if you think about it, it kind of is related, but again, what Sam's saying is, yeah, we want to get our subscribers up to 1,000. If you can do it, it's free. There's nothing
Yep.
to lose. It's a win-win thing. Just do all the things, like and share, invite your friends. We're just like 285 subs away from 1,000, and we're continuing to pump out the content so we can get those hours up there. So
Yeah, and it all goes to, and 2028, I believe, the UFL is expanding again, and Boise, Idaho was on the short list for this year before Mike Repo came in, and laid an ultimatum for the Birmingham Stallions that if you want to keep your team, you need to buy 5,000 season tickets, and by God, they did. Darn it! But they did it, and they got to keep their team. But they're looking to expand in a couple of years, so this could be a show that gets the people kind of on board, and the people in Boise a chance to kind of keep up with where that's heading.
I have a hunch that there's going to be a Seattle and a Boise team, and then if there is, then there's another show for you.
Yep. All right.
Well,
Nate.
thank you, Thank you, Bronco Nation, for watching tonight. Again, really appreciate your coming on and watching this and learning new things, just like sometimes I am, about the esports. I'm fascinated to learn. I constantly want to learn more things, and that's what these shows are all about. So really grateful for you watching tonight. Again, this channel is by Boise State fans, powered by Boise State fans, for Boise State fans, and through this, we're elevating Boise State through fans like us. So really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Do all the things.com, like, share, sub. It's all free. Go to the website, bronconationupdates.com. Utilize the search feature on there and read up on, your players, your sports. Look up the standard. It's a good article. I'm really proud that I did that a couple years ago. Really puts things in perspective and helping a fanatic like me kind of chill out, So yeah, go to our website, sub the channel. But again, I really appreciate everybody who's watching. And until next time, go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Blue Elevation elevating Broncos sports through fans like you. Every donation fuels Boise State athletics, scholarships, and community projects, helping student athletes reach championship levels. With over $13,000 raised, Blue Elevation is Boise State's #1 crowdsourcing outlet. Join the movement, elevate the Broncos, and make every gift count. Visit blueelevation.org to elevate Boise State to the next level.